I'm at the point where, much like the rest of humanity going on in today's society, where regarding Matsuricon, I have to believe that this has to be some kind of 4D chess. Like I don't know what else to think about for the intro, but everything that's going on, even with how things are going direction wise, it's insane they're still being like this. Anyway, moving on. So I've been making Matsuricon related videos on and off, and for those that have been following my channel for quite some time, you guys already know how I feel about the con itself. When it comes to content in general, I don't like making videos based off of comments alone, with a few exceptions, because it actually reminds me of a certain clout chaser that also has a bad habit of not only doing that, but also making fluff posts as well. But when you're saying that I'm going to be destroying my reputation as well as my own character and make up lies for the public and census because of reasons, yeah, I'm going to call you out. Now, for those that have been following me for quite some time, or at the very least know my face, you're familiar with the scenario, but for those that don't know, I'll give a very quick backstory. Matsuricon is a convention in Columbus, Ohio. That in and of itself isn't a big deal, or a big deal. Their staff are known for being lazy and intense people. That in and of itself isn't a big deal. Even with fatigue or overstimulation, it's normal. Even I suffer from those things as well. But regarding how things are going for Matsuricon, if you're the person doing a transaction for this con and you're letting those people run things as is, and if you don't do your due diligence and you just want to attend the con and see friends, even if you don't want to interact with the staff, that is on you. But where I have an issue with Matsuricon, and I know some people have said that it's beef, the main beef is that Matsuricon themselves, even the head honcho John, isn't holding themselves accountable for their actions, whether in past or present tense. Not just for me, but for other consumers as well, and some former staffers that have also spoken up as well. I've publicized a final statement on Twitter showcasing the scars that I've received from Matsuricon on scenes and off scenes. I've also shared a handful of videos on and off, and some of them I still have up even on places like TikTok, but on YouTube alone, I just have my lazy and intense deception video, the follow-up video regarding some of the criticism I received from that video alone, and also the reality check that I gave Matsuricon not too long ago. And instead of holding themselves accountable and just being like, hey, we heard your voice, we'll do better, we're sorry we fucked up. No, they just want to suppress the truth and silence our voices and make sure people like us calling them out on their scrutiny don't exist. Like, they're just full mask off at this point. I mean, it's just not what a convention would run, or even just like a normal retail store would run, or any kind of professional setting in general. That would be like if I ran a convention and I decided to have a controversial guest and just run things normally operation-wise, and my consumers would be mad at me just being like, hey, you did remove that person. And I was like, no, I'm doing my job. Let's just move on and do our thing. That's basically what they're doing. And normally, I don't like to visit Reddit all that often unless it's an answer that I'm really looking for. Like, say, if I need to replace a MOS or CMOS battery in my PS2 to make sure the clock is running normally, I'll go to places like Reddit or whatever Google recommends to me and see how I can remove said CMOS battery. That's usually my only exception when it comes to visiting Reddit. I decided to just look up Matsuricon recently under the mini thread. How does the Reddit thread, excuse me. How does Matsuricon compare? And basically the general consensus are people that are still liking it. And there's one person that shared my reality check video, and there's this former staffer that I never interacted with in person myself, but I'm at least familiar with him being in the public consensus, or in part of the public eye. And all John wants to do in this case, even with the connections that he has, in which, of course, from an entertainment side of things, I don't care about those kinds of connections. I'm not even jealous of that kind of success. But when you're trying to twist people's minds and manipulate people and make them publicize bullshit like this, that's where I have an issue. And before I actually dig deeper into this, there are two things I am going to bring up. I'm only going to focus on the parts that are bullshit. Everything else that's stuff I've already explained before, that's not going to be the main focus. And even stuff that he's brought up himself that I guess you could say take it with a grain of salt, but there's nothing proving this. I haven't received a DM from him privately about any of this information. I'm just going to leave all that stuff out and just focus on the parts that are bullshit. And the second part that I will take the L on in this case, even though technically it's a nothing burger in comparison to all the other controversies that have already been publicized about Matsuricon, is that while it's not 100% the main reason why I turned against Matsuricon, me having a hissy fit over the announcement of the cancellation around my birthday at the time, it is stupid and selfish at the same time, and I'll take responsibility for being abrupt in that regard and just not thinking things through thoroughly, and I won't refute that. This is, like I said, that is a nothing burger. This is way more important. But anyway, moving on. As a former director of Matsuricon, I can say yes, every con, include Matsuricon, might have some issues. I'm assuming this person means including. But typos usually aren't a good sign for anyone who has had any experience for a con, but I'm not here to correct someone's grammar in this case. I'll do my best to read things as thoroughly as possible, but moving on. But this person you linked is not mentally well. Yes, that's true. There is a now deleted clip of him threatening violence against the owners of the con. Okay, so explain to me why... Please explain to me why sending occasional vents as well as telling people to get their shit together as well as pointing out these issues and making these follow-up videos and showing these skeletons in their closet regarding their unprofessionalism and scrutiny. How is that threatening violence on people, even if it's giving people criticism? Can you explain that to me, Brian? Go ahead. I'm waiting for a response in that regard. He says he is over his issues from 2015. I mean, outside of having a rough year regarding 2015 alone for Matsuricon alone, it's not like from a staffing perspective. I don't even know what other issue he's talking about regarding 2015. That he has no first-hand interaction with and will drop his rants. Is he really letting John manipulate his mind? But he comes back every few months with another attack. Yes, he is definitely letting John manipulate his mind. Against John, Nicole, and whatever else he has in mind. Who's personally attacking Matsuricon? I mean, all I've done, like I said, was just be on lines of, hey, get your shit together, be courteous of others, and give genuine criticism, and also occasionally rant. But it's just... I don't even know what's even in Brian's mind at this point. SNH products... Oh yeah, because I definitely love to sell products. I sell products of my favorite duck in all of Pokemon. Yes, I sell those kinds of products. He was blocked because he was harassing volunteers.
Bullshit.
He also uses clips from Anime Matsuri, not Matsuriki. Oh my fucking god, Brian. Have you not checked out the credits that I put in for the videos that I've used, which I later credited on, with the videos showcasing the things happening in the Matsuricon hallways in the Greater Convention Center, or the Greater Convention Columbus. You know what I mean. The area, the vicinity in which the con takes place at. With the exception of ASEN, DragonCon, and Anime Expo, and there's a fourth one I forgot to mention, I'm not publicizing anything related to the one con that is brown-nosing for Vic Mignogna. In fact, what you guys are doing, John and Matsuricon, is you're pulling an Ohio con, a Vic Mignogna, a Doug Walker, and even a Holy Pete. Like all those other people that I mentioned, instead of holding yourselves accountable and just being like, hey, we'll do better, we're sorry about our mistakes. No, you just want to blame others based off of this and just gaslight the public consensus. So TLDR, Matsuricon, like other cons in the Meso-West, have some issues, but nothing as dramatic as the YouTube poster says. What exactly is vaping behind the audio equipment for the masquerade, or for the cosplay masquerade, consider dramatic? Was that a part where one of your staffers didn't realize that was a big no-no and you guys should have had the realization of, oops? Get it through your brains, John and Matsuricon. Are they perfect? No. But they have removed some problem staff in the last 2 years. Not even gonna bother with the lack of grammar, but at this point, I really hope people are catching on to what the point is, and I hope I was part of that reason behind it. And again, it's not the fact that they're just being lazy and intense. It's the fact that they're not being courteous of others, not holding themselves accountable, and not doing a thorough job at anything that's going their way. Even if they were like, let's run a Pokemon event or a Pokemon convention. I know I'm using my AirPods, but let's just hypothetically say that they're running a Pokemon convention. Not for kids, more for mature audiences. Our staff are lazy and intense and act like a bunch of those crazy cartoon characters from the 90s and early 2000s. It is as it is. I can't speak today. I'm so sorry.
Idiot!
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't have made a single video. I wouldn't have cared if you had maintained that level of consistency. I mean, it's not even that I'm jealous of your success. I mean, hell, we're not even in the same business, dude. But it's the thing that you're letting one of your staffers, doesn't matter if it's past or present tense, get away with this as well as you guys, and not putting yourself in a task in this instance. And you have zero ethics. None. And for the fact that you're lying and getting away with as much of this as possible, it's not a good look on your behalf. And there's even one person that did talk about you that I've also shared as well. Convention Reviews talked about his experience going into 2024, and he said that multiple staffers, not one staffer, not a handful, multiple staffers said to his face when he had an issue in the vicinity that communication was an issue and they don't know why. It doesn't even matter if it's a minor inconvenience or even just like something that's career ending. Are we all of a sudden calling criticism attacks in general? Like, I even hate it when people make this assumption where people are just like, hey, that public figure is definitely going to be tackling this person because of the content he's making. So, yeah, he's just doing it for the sake of clout, and he's doing it for the sake of hatred. It's not about clout or hatred. It's about exposing people and companies for doing terrible things. And that's what you're doing right now, John. It's literally people like you guys that are ruining the pop culture scene. And it's making people lose trust in you because of all that you've done. And even with one of your alleged former staffers brown-nosing for you, saying that I'm quote-unquote attacking you and saying that I'm quote-unquote threatened violence, it's just fucking disgusting. And that's the reason why you guys have zero business ethics or ethics at all. You guys are digging deeper and deeper holes, and you're continuing to be pieces of shit, and you're not holding yourselves accountable, let alone learning from your actions, growing from them, learning from them, and bettering yourselves as a part of humanity. And all you do is just plug your ears like a bunch of children. And you're damn right that we're going to continue to call you out. It doesn't matter if it's in a written comment, verbal criticism, whether it be harsh or valid, or just whatever. If it's not for malicious intentions, nobody's going to stop until you and your people stop acting like the size of your dick and start acting your proper ages, respectively. Unbelievable.